Welcome to this cybersecurity class. So, in this class, again, we have to continue with the network security devices. How we are going to, secure the devices, which is present in the network. Right. So, we have already seen the objectives. The objectives are we are going to explain the network security devices, network technologies, and to describe the secure network design elements. So these are all the objectives we have seen already. So first objective we have been completing network security devices, the types of network security devices. We have seen a lot of devices that been used for securing the network. So today we are going to see about the intrusion detection and prevention systems, how it has been used for securing the devices. So intrusion detection system, you all know, right? So it is a kind of system that will detect the intrusion which is happening. A particular, process that is been happening for compromising a system that has been detecting. So this kind of thing is actually doing with the help of intrusion detection system. So it is actually a device, right? So it is actually a device. This system is a device that can detect an attack as it occurs. So if an attack is being occurred, it is being detected with the help of intrusion detection system. So it is actually a system or a model or a device that has been used for detecting the attack. So IDS systems can use different methodologies for monitoring the and for the attacks. So it uses different methodologies, right? IDS intrusion detection systems, it uses different methodologies that has been used for detecting the attacks and all. IDS can be installed either on the local host or on the networks. So we can install in the host IDS or we can install implement the same IDS in the network. If I am implementing in the host, then it is called actually HIDS, right? HIDS. If I am implementing in a network to detect a particular attack or detect an attack, so then that is called actually NIDS. So network intrusion detection. So this is called actually host intrusion detection system. So this is called actually network intrusion detection system. So IDS is nothing but a system. It is a method. It is a device that has been used for detecting an attack, right? So we can use different methodologies for detecting the attacks and all. So here there are two kinds of IDS are there, host IDS and network IDS. So extension of IDS is an intrusion prevention system. So IDS means which will detect the attack. Here IPS means intrusion prevention system that will prevent the attack, right? So it will block the attack. Here it will only detect the attack and it will alert the particular network administrator. But in case of IPS intrusion prevention system, this will detect and also it will block the particular attack. So this is called actually the basic thing about intrusion detection system. So keep it in your mind. Intrusion detection system is a device or a system or a model that can be used for detecting a particular attack. So different methodologies can be used for detecting this kind of attacks. So there are two kinds of network, intrusion detection system. One is host IDS and network IDS. If I am installing this IDS in a host, a particular host, then that is called host IDS. If I am installing that IDS in a network, then that is called actually network IDS. So the extension of IDS is an intrusion prevention system. So here in the IDS, this will only detect the system. In IPS, it will prevent or block the particular attack. So monitoring methodologies. So what are all the methodologies that we can implement or that we can incorporate with these IDS intrusion detection systems? There are four monitoring methodologies: anomaly based, signature based, behavior based, and heuristic based. So what is meant by anomaly based? So it just compares the current detected behavior with the baseline. So it compares the current detected behavior. So if an attack is happening in a particular network or a host, so it will detect the behavior of the attack with the baseline, right? So it is having already a baseline within the intrusion detection system. So it will compare the baseline with the detected behavior. So that is called actually anomaly based monitoring. So what is meant by signature based monitoring? It looks for well-known attack signature patterns. So already that particular IDS system which is installed in a host or a network, it has its own signature. So it will compare the signature with the well-known attack happening in that particular host or network. So it looks for a well-known attack signature pattern. So that is called actually signature-based monitoring. And what is meant by behavior-based monitoring? It detects the abnormal actions. So a system is running, right? So it has its own functionality. So it has a sequence of functionality. If any sequence of functionality is being altered, so then that is called actually abnormal action. So if this abnormal action is being detected by the process or the programs and alerts the users who decides whether to allow or block the activity. Here the user is nothing but the network admin or system admin. So if any abnormal behavior is happening in the particular host or the network, it has been alerted to the particular system admin. So who is going to decide whether he has to block or allow the particular activity. So that person has to decide whether this is actually a malicious or a legitimate activity. So that is actually behavior based monitoring. What is meant by heuristic based monitoring? This is called actually, it uses the experience based techniques, right? So say for example, it uses a lexical behavior. Say for example, in case of detecting the phishing, you can use URL based detection, right? So URL based detection, URL is nothing but the link. So the link has its own parameters, right? The slash will be there, the number of dots will be there, the number of subdomains will be there. So based upon the attributes and based upon the parameters, we can detect that particular link is a malicious or not. So that is called actually experience based techniques. So it has to learn itself so that it can detect that particular link is a malicious or not. So that is called actually heuristic monitoring. All right. So there are 4 methodologies that can be incorporated with the IDS so that it can detect a particular attack as a malicious or not. The first one is actually anomaly based monitoring, signature based monitoring, behavior based monitoring. Fourth one is heuristic based monitoring. So let's have an example how it has been trapping a port scanning application. Say for example, an attacker is there, right? Here this is the attacker system, right? So this is actually a network with a number of systems, right? The attacker is actually trying to scan the port, open the port which is present in this particular victim system. This is victim system. So this is an example scenario. So how let us see how our IDS intrusion detection system with the different monitoring methodologies is used to detect or trap the port scanning application, right? So how it has been detecting the port scanning application. Say for example, let us take an anomaly based monitoring. So trap the applications, whether it will trap application scanning ports, it depends. So how it depends? Only if this application has tried to scan previously and baseline has been established, then it will be detected. So as we all know that anomaly based monitoring is nothing but it is a technique that it will detect an attack based upon the comparison of the attack and the baseline that has been already implemented. So how it will trap the application scanning ports? So if it has been trying to scan the previously and baseline has been established, then it will detect, and hence they have been saying that it is actually depends upon the baseline. So signature based monitoring, they have been telling like it depends. So only if the signature, why they have been telling like it depends. So because if I am having the signature of the particular scanning by the application, then which has been previously created, then I will detect that particular port scanning application. So if I am already having the database, signature database, based upon the database, based upon the signature of the scanning by this application that has been previously created, I am detecting that particular scanning application. So behavior based monitoring. So again it depends. So how it depends? Only if this action by the application is different from the other application. So behavior is nothing but based upon the action happening, right? So how the action is performing, malicious action is performing or legitimate action is performing. So only if the action by the application is different from the other applications, then it will detect based upon the behavior based monitoring. And finally heuristic based, definitely yes, it will trap the application or it will detect the application scanning ports. So how it is being doing, IDS is triggered if any application tries to scan the multiple ports. So here in case which is being incorporating with the heuristic monitoring, the IDS is triggered if any application tries to scan multiple ports. So this is how different methodologies, monitoring methodologies can be implemented for trapping the application scanning ports. Right, so let us get into the HIDS. As I said earlier, HIDS is nothing but host-based intrusion detection system. It is a software-based application that runs on a local host computer. I said right. So IDS which is being installed in a host, then that is called HIDS. That can be detected as an attack has occurred. HIDS relies on agents installed directly on the system being protected. So if I am installing my intrusion detection system, a software in my system, in my laptop, that will detect if any intrusion is happening in my laptop. So what are all the things that it is being monitoring? System calls, you all know, right? So you have studied in operating system what is meant by system call. A file is being created, a create is a system call. So it will monitor the system. What are all the system calls is created. So if I want to open a document, some sequence of system calls will be called, right? Create, right? So save, so everything is there. So system calls, a lot of system calls is there. So it will monitor the system calls, file system access, system registry settings. So system registry settings is very important thing in Windows OS. So it will also monitor the registry settings and also host input output. So what are all the input is given to that host and what are all the output is getting out from that host. So everything it has been monitoring, either the traffic, anything it has been monitoring. So this is called actually HIDS. So what are all the disadvantages of HIDS? It cannot monitor a network traffic, obviously, because I am installing that particular intrusion detection system as a software in a particular host. So it couldn't monitor the network traffic that does not reach the local system. Yeah, all log data is stored locally. So since it is a HIDS, all the databases, all the logs have been stored in the locally. So it is actually resource intensive and can slow the system, right? So it has been installed in a system, right? So definitely it will slow the system. So that is all the disadvantages of HIDS. And we are going for an NIDS, network intrusion detection system. This watches for attacks on the network, right? So as I said earlier, we are as a cybersecurity professionals. We are actually into the networks, right? So if I am in the attacker point of view also, most of the attackers wants to intrude in the network rather than going for a host, because if I am intruding a network, then I can access what are all the hosts which is present in the network itself. So NIDS, it watches the attacks on the network. Definitely it will helpful for preventing or any intrusion which is happening in the network. NIDS sensors installed on the firewalls and the routers. So the sensors have been installed. It is like a device. Here they have been mentioning here the sensor is a device, the software. So it has been installed on the firewall and the router to gather the information, report back to the central devices. So may use one or more of the evaluation techniques. Yeah, we can use any monitoring technique what we have discussed so far. Once attack detected, NIDS can perform different actions to sound an alarm or log the event. So I can log the event, what is actually happening, or I can alarm a particular network administrator that this is happening. So this is the things it can do. So NIDS definitely it will monitor the network and it will do an alert if any unusual thing is happening there. Right, NIDS evaluation techniques, the protocol stack verifications, it will do the protocol stack verifications. So some attacks use invalid IP, TCP, UDP and or ICMP protocols. So it will actually do as protocol stack verifications, application protocol stack verifications, created the extended labs. So NIDS can unusual events and then make this available to other network logging monitoring systems. So the next thing is application aware IDS. So it is actually a specialized IDS capable of using contextual knowledge in real time. So we have seen so far the different kinds of IDS, intrusion detection system. So in that we have studied host IDS and network IDS. So this is actually a different kind of IDS where it is called application aware IDS, So this is actually an intelligent IDS which is capable of using a contextual knowledge. So can know the version of the operating systems. Definitely before getting the intrusion detected, it knows it knows the version of the operating systems which is actually incorporated there, or which application is running as well. So in that particular host or network, what are all the applications are running on that, as well as what are all the vulnerabilities present in the systems being protected. So everything it has been monitoring, and hence they have been saying it has its own contextual knowledge. It improves the speed and accuracy of IDS decision and reduces the risk of false positives. So you all know, right, false positives. So there are, if I am detecting some intrusion, then it has to be evaluated with the true positive, false positive, true negative, false negative. So true positive is nothing but out of 100 intrusion, if I am detecting 90 detection, then 90% of true positive we can say. So what is meant by false positive? If I am detecting a particular thing as a malicious, but it is not actually a malicious thing, it is a legitimate. So here with the help of application of our IDS, we have been reducing the risk of false positives. So finally, intrusion prevention system. So far we have studied all the IDS intrusion detection system. Here, the last thing is we have been into the IPS intrusion prevention system. So as I said, IDS it will detect the intrusion, but in case of IPS, it will prevent the intrusion. And in how it is being preventing the intrusion, with the help, it is actually blocking that particular intrusion. And hence it is preventing the intrusion. So monitors to detect the malicious activities like IDS, but also attempts to prevent them to stopping the attack. So similar to the NIDS that monitors the network traffic to immediately react to the malicious attack. So what is the difference between NIDS and NIPS? The major difference is actually NIDS has the sensors that monitor the traffic entering and leaving the firewall, and reports back to the central devices for the analysis. The logs are being sent to the central devices for the analysis. So it has a number of sensors. NIDS has sensors. It has been installed in different devices in the particular network, and the logs has been collected in a particular central devices. The logs has been analyzed for the intrusion detection. NIPS would locate an inline on a firewall itself to allow the NIPS to more quickly take action or to block the attack. So it is been installed, NIPS being installed on a firewall so that it will take action on a blocked or blocking the attack. So application over IPS, this will give a high degree of accuracy since it knows the vulnerability, operating systems, the version of the operating systems, what are the applications being running on the network, everything it knows. So it is actually an intelligent over IPS. So finally, we have studied so far the intrusion detection system, host IDS, NIDS, application aware IDS, and intrusion prevention systems, network intrusion prevention systems also we have studied. So they have these systems or methods have been separately working and doing its own activities and all. So unified threat management UTM security appliances is nothing but it makes it cumbersome to manage the multiple devices security product that combines several security functions. So it has all the functions, right? So far we have studied it. Say for example, it has its own anti-malware protection. It has its own firewall protection. It has its own intrusion detection system. So everything it has in their particular model. So because different types of network security hardware each provides different defenses, network may require multiple devices for comprehensive protection. So to avoid this, we have been going for this unified threat management.